everybody, Christina here from Creations with Christina. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the frame punch board by We Are Memory Keepers. The frame punch board is great for scrapbooking, any kind of paper crafting, actually, from project life to card making to scrapbook layouts. It is just fabulous for doing all kinds of size frames. So I'm going to show you today how to use it. First, I just want to go over the layout of it. We have our punch right over here. This is the corner rounder as well as what you're going to be using to make your frames. There's these two little guides right here. If it's on this setting, the very first peg right on the board here in this corner on both sides, that is for rounding your corners. As you move them up, it varies your width of your frame. So you can go from 1/4 inch all the way up to a 1-inch frame. This section right here is your cutting board. This is where you're going to trim out your frame. So there's a little blade here that works with the trimmer. There's a little knot right here that actually goes right into the trimmer, and it's used for sliding and cutting your paper. This section right here is your guide for your frame. You're going to use this when you're cutting your paper. You're going to take your paper and stick it right into the frame, and it'll butt up against that. So this coordinates with your pegs on this side. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how to make a couple different frames. We're going to start off with a very standard size frame. So I'm going to take a piece of 3x4 cardstock, and I just took this paper from Simple Stories from the Wonderland collection. And I'm going to start by rounding my corners. So I have my pegs in the bottom slots, or the bottom little peg holes, and that is going to be how we round our corners. We're going to take our paper and stick it right in and just go ahead and punch our corners. You don't have to round your corners if you don't want to, but I just like the way the frame looks better with rounded corners. So the next thing we want to do is start creating our frame. I'm just going to start off with a basic 1/4 inch frame. So I'm going to take my pegs and I'm just going to move them into the lowest of the peg holes. And that is going to create our 1/4 inch frame. So we're going to take our cardstock once again and stick it right inside and punch our different corners. We're going to do the first 3, but then when we get to our last one, we're going to actually flip our paper upside down and punch that one. Because if you don't, your alignment's going to be off. So now we have our cardstock that looks like this. The next thing we're going to do is trim out this middle section. So I use the 1/4 inch on the punch board. I'm going to use the 1/4 inch on the cutting section. So let's just turn this to the side. I have this on the very lowest section of pegs, and this whole little piece just pops right out. So I'm going to put it on the very lowest one. We're going to take our cardstock and stick it right inside of the cutting blade. And then we're going to take our blade, we're going to put the notch right inside the little groove that is already on the cutter, and we're going to find where our little gaps are. So you can feel in the cardstock when you're hitting the paper. So we're just going to go ahead and slide that until we cut through our paper. And we're going to do that on all 4 sides. And now what happened was I slid my paper, so I have a little piece that's attached. I'm just going to go ahead and pull that off. And then you will see that there are sometimes little grooves, and you're just going to grab your scissors and trim that down. And now we have a cute frame with a 1/4 inch border. This is the 3x4 piece. Let's go ahead and do a square one using a 3x3 piece. So again, I'm going to start off with my cutting board, and I'm going to put my pegs on the lowest to round my corners. I'm going to go ahead and stick my paper in and punch all 4 corners. For this one, I'm going to do a 3/4 inch frame. So I'm going to move this up to the second from the last section. We're going to go ahead and stick our paper in. And remember to turn it over when you get to your fourth one. And now we're going to go ahead and use the paper trimmer. So I'm going to take my guide and pull it out and put it at the 3/4 of an inch mark. We're going to put our paper in using our blade, and we're going to go ahead and trim out our little frame. And now we have a little 3/4 of an inch frame. So another fun frame that you can do is a Polaroid style frame. I'm going to go ahead and start off with my pegs on the lowest so I can round my corners. And I'm using a piece of cardstock that is cut at 3 by 4. And then we're going to go ahead and move our pegs to the 1/4 of an inch. So that's the very next one up from the corner, that the rounding corners. And we're going to go ahead and punch our 2 top sections. And then we're going to change just one of these pegs. So I'm just going to move this peg up here to the 1 inch. And when we put our cardstock in, we're going to right up to the guide. And now we created a frame that has a larger bottom. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and cut out our frame. We're going to set our guide at 1/4 of an inch, and we're going to cut the top and the 2 sides. We're not going to touch the bottom just yet. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cardstock in, get my blade, and trim the top. And as you're gliding it, you can feel where you're at with the paper. So once you get past that paper and get it into the other notch, it's going to stop gliding. So I did the top and the bottom, or the top and the side, and now I'm just going to do the other side. And then before we cut out our bottom piece, we're going to move our pegs up to the 1 inch section. We're going to put our pattern paper in. We're going to go ahead and set our blade, and we're going to trim out the bottom. So now we went ahead and created a nice Polaroid style frame. That's the frame punch board from We Are Memory Keepers. You can create some really great style frames that can be used for pretty much any kind of project that you're working on paper crafting. I want to share with you a couple of projects that I created. I was playing around with this and creating some frames for my display board for some photos that I have on display. This is a school picture of my son, and I didn't want to permanently adhere the frame down to the picture, so I went ahead and just added some temporary adhesive, and I clipped this on my board so it'll be okay to stay up. And then I just added a little piece of ribbon to the back just to kind of give it a little something. And then here is a card I made using the Cartabella Flora paper collection. I went ahead and created a mat for the background, added a Polaroid style frame with the simple little Hugs to You stamp sentiment, and then just a little bow. I'll have the supplies for this card listed down below as well as on my blog, and I also have some links of where you can order the frame punch board online. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel. That's how you can be updated when I post new videos. And give today's video a thumbs up. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.